My name is Sarah, and I share a home with my husband, Silas, and our delightful 3-year-old son, Jordan. Today is a special day. It marks the 3rd anniversary of the day Silas and I began our journey together. During a quiet moment this morning, Silas broke the silence. "It's been 4 years since we started dating, hasn't it?" he remarked. I nodded, feeling a mix of emotions as I sensed an unusual seriousness in his voice. "What's on your mind, Silas? You seem a bit distracted," I inquired, my concern for him growing. Silas took a deep breath, his eyes searching mine. "Sarah, there's something important I've been wanting to ask you," he began, his voice trembling slightly with nerves. "Will you marry me?" he asked, repeating the proposal that had once bound us in commitment. Our life together had been filled with countless precious moments. Initially, being with Silas felt like a dream, his kindness and thoughtfulness enveloping me in true happiness. Yet, as the years passed, the daily grind and various pressures began to alter the dynamics of our relationship. Interrupting my thoughts, Silas complained about dinner. "Sarah, didn't I specifically ask for roast beef tonight? Why are we having leftovers?" he asked sharply. "I'm sorry, Silas, but with Jordan needing so much attention, it's tough to prepare something elaborate," I explained, a twinge of guilt in my voice. "I don't need excuses. Taking care of Jordan isn't that hard. Stop making it into such a big deal," Silas snapped, his frustration evident. He often talked about his challenging role at his parents' company, where he was expected to eventually take over as president. Despite his long hours at work, he struggled to meet his targets, and his dissatisfaction often spilled over into our home life. "I don't need a fancy dinner, Sarah. In fact, I might not come home tonight. I have a golf game with a senior from work tomorrow, so just make sure everything's ready for tonight," he said dismissively, leaving me stunned by his harshness. Later that evening, as he tasted the dinner I had managed to prepare, he remarked, "This is so bland, Sarah. You just can't seem to do anything right these days," further straining the already tense atmosphere between us. Our relationship, once full of smiles and meaningful conversations, was now overshadowed by Silas's frequent absences. He often chose spending time with friends or pursuing hobbies over being with the family, even on weekends. During my maternity leave, I dedicated myself to our home and to Jordan, waking early to manage household chores and care for our son. Despite my exhaustion, the unspoken tensions with Silas weighed heavily on me. Occasionally, I found solace in reminiscing about the happier times in our early marriage and Silas's infectious smile. Yet, it was undeniable that things had changed. One day, as Jordan hugged me with a bright smile, calling me Mom more frequently, I felt a small comfort amidst our growing distance. His innocent joy offered a brief respite and reminded me of the love that still existed within our family. Holding on to hope, I wished for a spark that might rekindle the warmth between Silas and me. Jordan and I used to share a deep connection, but I sensed that it had gradually faded. One morning, as I cleaned up before Silas left for work, I noticed something unusual. He came downstairs, not in his usual business attire, but in casual clothes that I hadn't seen before. "Aren't you going to work today?" I asked, genuinely curious. "I am, but I don't need a suit today," Silas replied, his tone dismissive. "Stop nagging, will you? If I say it's fine, then it's fine. Don't question everything," he snapped, leaving me speechless. I was only asking a simple question, yet his response stung. As Silas walked out the door, it felt like he was escaping. An unsettling thought crossed my mind. Was he really going to his office? The gap between us seemed to widen with each day. Our conversations dwindled and were often laced with a chilly air. The warmth and affection that once defined our relationship now felt like distant memories. His remarks, whether about my cooking or how I kept the houses, were increasingly sharp and hurtful. I began to doubt myself, wondering what had caused such a drastic change in our relationship. Despite my best efforts at home and in caring for Jordan, nothing seemed to satisfy Silas. His cold demeanor and constant criticism cut deep. Over time, my affection for him waned, and the happy memories we once shared faded into the background, replaced by a growing sense of indifference. What was the point of all my efforts? I pondered. In the midst of these thoughts, Jordan's voice brought me back to the present. "Look, Mom, I made this," he exclaimed, showing me his drawings. "Wow, that's amazing. Did you draw this?" I asked, impressed. "Yeah, this one's a dog, and this is a cat," Jordan explained proudly. "You're really good at drawing, Jordan," I praised him, his smile bringing warmth to my heart. As time passed, my feelings continued to shift. My love for Silas diminished, but my love for Jordan grew stronger. Observing his development, I began to seriously consider my future, particularly the possibility of divorce. The relationship with Silas was no longer fulfilling, and he barely participated in parenting or fulfilled his role as a father. The idea of freeing myself from this situation felt more liberating than daunting. However, a concern lingered about how it would affect Jordan. On our way to a meeting with Jordan's grandparents, these thoughts weighed heavily on me. We arrived at their doorstep, and Jordan ran ahead. "Hello, Mother." "Hi, Grandma," he called out, his voice filled with excitement. As we arrived at their doorstep, Jordan's grandparents greeted us with open arms. "Hello, Jordan. Have you grown taller again?" Grandma exclaimed, her eyes twinkling with joy. "Really? Yay." Jordan cheered, delighted by her praise. "It's great to see you. Come on in." Grandma welcomed us warmly. "Thank you, I will," I replied as we stepped inside. Despite my strained relationship with Silas, his parents, my in-laws, had always been pillars of support. They ran a local business and never hesitated to show kindness and understanding towards Jordan and me. "That's right. I bought some delicious sweets at the station. I'll serve them with coffee now. Please have a seat and relax," Grandma insisted, her voice filled with kindness. "Let me help," I offered, eager to contribute. No, it's fine. You must be tired from taking care of Jordan. Just sit down. You need to rest when you can," Grandma reassured me. "Thank you, Mother," I replied, feeling genuinely touched. They always treated me as if I were their own daughter, and their home felt like a sanctuary. We visited almost every week, and each time was a reminder of their genuine concern for our well-being. Their voices were comforting, and they cherished their moments with Jordan, showering him with attention and toys. Sometimes my father-in-law took Jordan to a nearby park, knowing how much he loved birds. He had even gifted Jordan a bird book, which deepened their bond further. Both in-laws listened attentively to my concerns, including my marital struggles and the challenges of domestic life. They always responded with understanding and compassion, their encouraging words filling our visits with warmth and reassurance. "I'm worried if Silas is causing you trouble," my mother-in-law once remarked, her smile tinged with concern, as my father-in-law played with Jordan. "No, it's fine," I assured her, though her worried expression lingered. Perhaps she sensed the complexity of my relationship with Silas. My father-in-law also showed his care by experimenting with new recipes for me, knowing my love for good food. His thoughtful gestures and the comfort he provided while playing with Jordan brought me peace. "Jordan, what kind of animal do you want to see next time?" my father-in-law asked playfully. "I want to see big fish next time," Jordan exclaimed excitedly. "All right, let's go to the aquarium next time," my father-in-law suggested, eliciting a joyful yay from Jordan. Watching them interact, I couldn't help but smile. Jordan adored his grandparents, showing them a carefree smile that rarely appeared at home with Silas. As we were leaving, my mother-in-law pulled me aside. "Sarah, feel free to talk to us about anything," she said kindly. Her words touched my heart. Little did she know, her support meant everything during these challenging times. As I mulled over the idea of divorcing Silas, I was torn. While I didn't want to distress my in-laws or make them feel burdened, I also deeply valued the relationship we shared and wanted Jordan to keep enjoying their company. I hesitated to share my marital troubles with them, anxious about how they might react. During this period of uncertainty, my in-laws offered to watch Jordan, giving me the opportunity to catch up with a friend over coffee. It had been ages since we'd last had the chance to sit down like this. "It's been a while, hasn't it?" my friend remarked as we settled into our seats and sipped our coffee. "You've seemed really busy lately," she added, her eyes reflecting her concern. "Have I?" I responded, trying to mask my worries. "Hey Sarah, has something been going on with your husband recently?" she asked delicately, picking her words with care. "What do you mean?" I inquired, a hint of confusion in my voice. "Well, I saw something the other day. I saw Silas walking with a woman I don't know," she confessed, her voice faltering and her expression filled with unease. For a moment, my mind went blank. Deep down, I wasn't completely shocked. Reflecting on Silas's recent behavior, there had been signs I had chosen to ignore. My friend reached out and held my hand, her gaze filled with empathy. "Sarah, I think you should talk to Silas," she suggested gently. "Yeah, maybe I haven't been myself lately," I admitted quietly, feeling the weight of her concern and the truth she brought to light. "That's why I invited you out today," she explained softly. "Is that so? Sorry for worrying you," I apologized. "Don't apologize, Sarah. Whatever decision you make about Silas, I'm on your side," she assured me warmly. "Thank you," I replied, feeling a mix of gratitude and relief. As we parted ways, I felt a strange calmness. The revelation about Silas provided the clarity I needed to pursue a separation without hesitation. Imagining a future with just Jordan despite the uncertainties, fortified my resolve. I needed to be strong, primarily for Jordan's sake. "I'm home," I announced as I entered our house. "Welcome back," Silas greeted me casually, oblivious to my subdued state. "Hey," I started, my voice steady but firm. "I've been waiting for you to come back," I continued as Silas carelessly tossed his bag onto the sofa. In a quiet but resolute tone, I told him, "Silas, we need to talk. Wait until after dinner." Silas replied, visibly annoyed by my approach. "No, I want to talk about this now," I insisted firmly. "What now? Such a hassle," Silas grumbled, avoiding eye contact as if trying to dodge the conversation. "This situation is your fault, isn't it?" I confronted him directly. "Huh? What are you talking about?" Silas looked puzzled, but a flicker of unease betrayed his composure. "I heard from a friend that you were seen walking with another woman. Is it true?" My voice was calm but insistent, demanding honesty. Silas's reaction was an immediate giveaway. His face paled and his eyes darted around, seeking an escape route. "That must be a mistake," he stammered. "My friend heard your voice and even knows the store you two entered. Should I check with the staff?" I challenged, feeling empowered by his obvious discomfort. "It's useless to hide it," I pressed on, watching him flounder for words. "Damn it," Silas spat out bitterly, his anger rising to the surface. "Yeah, that's right. Her name is Zoe. Unlike you, she's perfect, great at her job, and she's cute. She even said she likes me despite knowing I'm married. That just shows how attractive I am, right?" Silas's tone was mocking and sharp. "I loved you, Silas," I said, hurt but resolute. "Would a normal woman approach a married man like that? There must be more to it," I reasoned, trying to find some logic in his betrayal. "Why should I feel bad for you and Jordan? You should be ashamed for not supporting me more in my hard work," Silas retorted defensively. "I've heard from your father and mother that you haven't even met your work quotas. Can you still say you're working hard?" I shot back, the weight of disappointment heavy in my voice. "I'm doing things my way. I'm going to be the next president, so don't interfere," Silas asserted arrogantly. "I doubt you'll ever become president," I stated quietly, my resolve hardening. "What did you say?" Silas's voice rose in anger. "Fine, I'm done with you. Let's divorce," I declared firmly, no longer able to tolerate his excuses. "I'll divorce you and marry Zoe. Do whatever you want," Silas pointed at me, his words sharp and hurtful. "Don't talk bad about Zoe. You're just jealous of her, aren't you?" Silas accused, misinterpreting my stunned silence for shock. "That's not the case," I replied quietly, my mind made up. "I'll show you. You'll regret this when you come begging to me later," Silas shouted angrily, storming out of the house, likely heading to Zoe's place. Impulsively, I tried to follow him, but tripped over a slightly. Silas declared coldly. "I'm sorry, father, mother," I whispered, tears welling up in my eyes. I couldn't stay with Silas any longer. Surprisingly, his cruel words didn't sting as they might have once. They simply confirmed that my love for him had completely faded. Contrary to my in-laws' surprise, Silas seemed oddly cheerful about the situation. "But now you understand. I can freely marry Zoe," Silas remarked casually. "Silas, were you seeing another woman?" my father-in-law asked, taken aback. "Yeah, so what? What's the big deal?" Silas shrugged. "Despite having Vivian, she's boring, not particularly cute, and can't handle housework or childcare properly," he continued insensitively. "How can you say that?" my mother-in-law exclaimed, shocked. "Sarah has been trying so hard. Managing household chores and raising our son Jordan has indeed been challenging. Moreover, Silas's indifference and harsh demeanor towards others, such as his dismissive comments to Tom, have only added to the stress. In light of these challenges, I made a firm decision to take a more significant role in the family business. Dad, I think it's time for you to consider retiring and passing the company leadership to me," I suggested one day. However, my father-in-law rejected the idea outright, expressing his doubts about my capability to lead. After parting ways with Silas, I embarked on a new chapter in my life. I now reside comfortably in a home recommended by my former in-laws, with a caretaker they introduced, making my daily life much more manageable. Life seemed more peaceful and effortless than ever before. Yet, amidst this newfound tranquility, an unexpected twist occurred. One quiet afternoon, as I was enjoying my day, the doorbell rang. When I checked the monitor, to my surprise, it was Silas, looking bewildered and desperate. "Hey Sarah, what's happening?" Silas exclaimed as I answered the door. "Hello Silas, what brings you here?" I asked, maintaining my composure despite the surprise. "I've been fired from the company, and Dad is adamant that it's for the best," Silas revealed, his voice filled with desperation. That sounds quite difficult, I said sympathetically, trying to understand his sudden vulnerability. My own parents have disowned me, claiming they no longer consider me their son, Silas continued, his voice tinged with disbelief. That must be tough, I replied quietly. Amidst our conversation, Silas revealed something startling. Did you know you own 95% of my parents' company stocks? Why didn't you tell me? Because you never asked. I responded evenly, highlighting the importance of communication. Frustrated, Silas pressed on. You should have told me regardless. What do you intend to do now? Trying to discern his intentions, I asked. What exactly do you want from me, Silas? You know what I want. I want you to revoke my dismissal. You have the power to do that since you own a significant portion of the company, he pleaded desperately. That's right. Please, Sarah. I've been rejected from other job interviews. No other company will hire me at this point, Silas implored, his desperation palpable. If that were the case, you should have taken your responsibilities more seriously, I countered. I will reconsider your firing if you promise to approach your work earnestly from now on. You don't have to worry about being fired unjustly or about being manipulated, I continued. Zoe left me the moment she realized I couldn't become president. She was only interested in my status, Silas admitted bitterly. I had my suspicions, I replied calmly, acknowledging the complexities of our situation and pondering the next steps. In a moment filled with unexpected proposals, Silas, now wheelchair-bound and seemingly desperate, reached out to me. Please, Sarah, reconsider. You're all I have left. Let's remarry. It would be good for both of us, he proposed, his voice laced with a hopeful tone. I was taken aback by his words. What are you suggesting, Silas? You're in a wheelchair now, and it seems you're implying you need my help. And Jordan needs his father, he continued, trying to persuade me. His audacity angered me. How dare he use our son and his condition as leverage? Before I could respond, Carson, our helper, stepped in. I'm sorry, but Sarah no longer wishes to speak with you, he stated firmly. Who are you to say that? Silas retorted, visibly shocked. I'm speaking to Sarah, Carson replied, his tone stern. As I said, she does not wish to engage with you. Silas, still not giving up, protested. Vivian needs me. That's right. I'll say it again. I had nothing more to say to him. I have nothing to say to you, Silas, and I don't ever want to see you again, I declared through Carson. If you leave me too, then Silas started, but Carson, displaying a rare show of anger, turned off the monitor. Watching Carson's protective stance, I felt a deep respect for him. He was slightly older than me, introduced by my in-laws as a helper. Stern yet kind, Carson had become close to Jordan and an indispensable part of our lives. Amused by his unexpected fervor, I found peace in our home. Rumors reached me that Silas, abandoned by Zoe and his parents, was navigating a lonely path. However, his fate no longer concerned me. Whatever his situation, he had no place in my life now. With the support of my in-laws and Carson's dependable assistance, I managed household chores and childcare more effectively, slowly regaining confidence in my abilities. As I met new people and shared smiles daily, my heart began to heal and move in a more positive direction. Though my journey with Silas had been fraught with challenges, I had overcome them and found a new sense of self. Our paths had diverged. Silas might be filled with regrets on his solitary journey, but I was advancing toward a future filled with peace and happiness, surrounded by people who loved and supported me.